From across the comic book community multiverse, the Comic-Con podcast begins now with your hosts, Justin, aka Nemesis Prime.
If you give them the title of influencer, then that's giving them more power, right? That's how it is. Like, I'm a nobody. Listen, I'm a nobody.
Zack, aka the Manimal.
We talked about it for a full, I believe, 7 to 8 minutes on an hour-long normal podcast for a show. And you would have thought we set their house on fire with the backlash.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Comic-Con podcast, season 3, episode 8. Your hosts are here for the mostest. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed a nice week of lots of talk of Ant-Man, Quantumania. If you haven't checked out our review, it's up for some bonus content, tons of spoilers, tons of Kang, tons of MODOK. Talk it all. So we are here recording this on February 23rd of 2023. So 2/23/23. Nice. Of course, my man, Zach, with us.
What up? Yeah, man, honestly, I just you said the date and I was like, holy shit, it's only February. It's only the end of February. Honestly, I know some people are probably like, oh, this is years flying by, and I kind of feel like it's going really slow. But yeah, man, good to be here. Had a long week. I was out of town. To go down to Mexico City, Mexico, for work, which if you guys have never been there before, it is beautiful. Very, very awesome city. Great food. Definitely check it out sometime. Really, really cool. So
you were a barista down there?
Yeah, a barista. I had a Starbucks, a branch down there. So I went to make a latte down there. But it's you know how you say latte in Spanish?
El latte.
Just latte, yeah. Just latte.
I don't want to be offensive and get some racial stuff. So I was going to stick away from the Mexican thing. I was thinking maybe make some tacos down there or something. I don't know. But
look, I wouldn't offend them. Their tacos are amazing. Already.
Probably, bro. I'm trying to go to Costa Rica. Like,
okay,
I'm trying to take the wife to Costa Rica. So you know that. So whether I go in the next month or so, or I wait till June when she gets out of school. So.
Yeah, man. The food, I mean, it was amazing. Like, I mean, they had amazing mariscos, just great street tacos, and everything is, man, let's just say the dollar goes far down there. So
nice.
It was a lot of fun.
Did they have comic books down there?
Dude, I should have looked. To be honest, I didn't. And I honestly, I didn't even really think about it. But mainly because I know there is that niche out there. Some people who do collect like international comics, right?
And stuff. Yeah. I'd pick up some stuff.
That's never been me. And so I never think about it. And plus I was with like work coworkers and anyway, been kind of weird. Like, hey, I'm going to go cruise to this comic book store real fast and see what they say about that. But
of course. Yeah. Like I'm going to DC next month for my job. And I always immediately, like when I get down there, I Google like comic book shops near me and see how far they are. And I don't have a car. I usually just Uber or whatever, but yeah, I try to get away for,
dude, now I'm looking.
And you're like,
I'm curious if I missed anything. So
it's like right outside your hotel.
I know the area I was staying in was in Polanco, and I'm looking on this map, and it doesn't look like there was stuff too close to where I was. But I mean, there's some shops. Damn, dude, there's some shops. I should have done it. I should have checked it out. Son of a beast.
I got to remind you now. Anytime you go out, just do some little hunting, even for like an hour or two, just randomly. It's you know what it is? That was like when I went to, where the hell did I go one year? I think when I went to Italy, like years and years ago, I literally just bought like one of each book just because it was cool. Like I bought like a Star Wars. No, I bought like, it was DC. So I bought like a Batman book, a Nightwing, like Superman. Cause I just thought it was cool, like to have a book in Italian. Like I didn't care. Like it was just, and I still have them. And it's cool because some of these publishers, now we're really getting off the topic of where we're going to go with tonight, but in those books, it's not just one story. It's like multiple. So like, I know like my Detective Comics has detective in it. It has Nightwing and Catwoman. And then like my Superman has like Superman, Supergirl, and Action Comics. So it's like 3 stories for us, like we would be buying like 3 books. It would cost us like $12. There you just get one book and has all 3 stories in it. So yeah, it's definitely different overseas.
Yeah, I didn't, and even when I travel for work quite a bit, and I just, to be honest with you, I just don't have time. I'm so
Mhm.
busy that I never have time to like sneak away and go do that. But I should try more often. But so if
True.
we do have any listeners in Mexico City, Mexico, let us know where the good shops are, because there's a chance maybe I might be going back at some point. So, but yeah, it was awesome, awesome, awesome city, massive, dude. Like, bro, it's like New York City.
Really?
Oh my gosh, dude, it's huge.
Well,
It's so big.
hopefully maybe I'll get down there one day. But again, Costa Rica's right now on the
Oh
that's on the
yeah,
list to do. So,
for
but
sure.
anyway, let's get out of our personal talk and get into what we're talking about tonight. Of course, we have tons of articles, tons of stuff to talk about. But we're going to start off this week's episode with something that I feel like for myself and definitely for Zach, I feel like he's definitely in this boat. And as you all know, and I posted it recently on Instagram that I got a ton of video game comics, and I say that, and I always say this: I'm a gamer before I'm a comic nerd, and I feel like more so this year is there is way too many video game homage covers for absolute garbage books that are out there. And that's
Yeah,
not to say that some of them aren't great. Like obviously, the Bird City comics with the 8 billion genies. But man, it's just taken such a change, and I feel, and again, we always come back to this. It's always about Whatnot, right? It's always about the Whatnot publishing. They have this Exiled book. They had Skull Kicker. They didn't do Skull Kickers, but like Skull Kickers and Quested and all the Ninja Funk stuff. It's just becoming so apparent that everybody wants to do a video game homage. And it's like, are you doing it because it's the in thing? Are you doing it because it's cool? Like, what's really the reason behind it? Like, if you're going to do an exclusive variant, listen, if you're going to do an exclusive variant and you want to pick an homage, pick something that either one hasn't been done numerous times, and don't follow suit with everybody else because you're just falling in line with the rest of the cattle.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it's hard to say. Like, first off, it's not like video game homages are a new
Done
thing,
before.
right?
Yeah.
It's not something that's like brand new. We've seen video game homages for a very, very long time, but there
Few and far
definitely has.
between.
Yeah, there has been the reemergence, and I think you brought it up. I mean, Bird City. I think honestly, if you were to kind of say maybe what kickstarted it back up, it was Bird City's success with the 8 billion genies. They had that amazing Super Mario homage, Super Mario 3, and it was awesome, fucking great, dude. And they kind of jumped ahead of the pack there and put that out. And then so kind of to answer your question, in my opinion, when you're like, why are you guys keep doing this? It's because they're trying to make money. I mean, it's not really anything other than trying to win off that success. And obviously with video games, just like with movies, so that's the other kind of very famous one we get to. It's either movie posters, right? A movie poster homage. You're trying to also bank off nostalgia, right? So it's like, oh man, I'm a big fan of this video game, or I'm a big fan of this movie, and then here's an homage to that. But I don't know, dude. I'm with you. I guess it doesn't, like, I'm a gamer as well. But the video game homages don't bother me in and of themselves. I honestly, it's just the variants bug me. It's just so obnoxious these days, like variant after variant after variant. And so these things are just going to be littering long boxes, littering dollar bins in the future. And nothing's exclusive. You can't even, honestly, when you just said it right now, when you said exclusives, ain't nothing exclusive anymore. They've killed it with just so many. Nothing's exclusive. Everyone, it's just a cash grab, narcissism. Man, I don't know. Honestly, I really just kind of am. I always have been this way, but now even more so. I'm just sticking to cover A's, bro. Just despite the fucking variants. Like, nah, I'm good with a cover A. So,
yeah, I love, like, it gets to a point where I'm like, do I want to buy the book because of the classicness of it? Like Quested, which is a Whatnot publishing book. Like they've done and are doing all the different Zelda covers. It's basically, like Zelda 1, 2,
right. Breath of the Wild,
Link to the Past, Link to the Past, N64, and sometimes it really blows my mind. Like they did for, I think it was like issue 2 or 3, they did the Final Fantasy 7 homage, like the cover for Final Fantasy 7, and I was just like,
no, like it ruins, like, to me, it just ruins a part of it. Like, I've seen this done before. Like, I'm waiting for someone to do a Mega Man homage, and I'm sure there's one out there. I can't, I've seen
Damn
like
it, dude.
Nottingham has done Nottingham has done the Castlevanias, but see, like, it was cool when DC did those. Remember when DC had like the Batman and like some of the Bat family had like they had 1 in 25 ratio variants that were video game homages, or like they look like old school cartridges. And like that was cool, but now it's just like every week I see something new. Like they have the Halo one, which I think is terrible looking for Exile. Like it just makes no sense. And I'm sure they'll come out with like a Halo 2 and 3 and ODST and Reach. Like I'm sure someone's gonna want to do that because that's the way it is. Like
yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm a massive Zelda fan as well, and seeing those covers really don't do anything for me.
Yeah. So again, I don't know if it's doing anything for the community, if it's doing for any of our listeners. Like, are you buying them? Like people out there, are you buying them? Because I feel like for the most part, if you do, you're really just buying it and you're putting it in a long box and it's just going to sit there.
Right.
Unless you're immediately getting it, sending it to CGC because you want to have it slabbed next to like your video game, which
is very niche. Very niche. Like there's how many people are out there who are doing that? You know what I mean?
But I would rather just go out there and buy a Zelda 1, like Valiant Legend of Zelda number 1, than have like the homage to the video game cartridge cover.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm sorry, but that's just me. I don't know. Like, I'd rather just spend the extra money and like have something that's actually going to be worth something because it's like the first appearance of the characters in comic book form, not like, hey, I have this cool Legend of Zelda Link to the Past cover, and no, it's
yeah, dude. I mean, I've always, my opinion on variants in general.
Yeah,
they've never been my thing, and so now we're in this era where it's just, oh my god, like everybody and their mother has a variant coming out,
and I feel like it's going to kill the market. To be honest, I really think it's going to kill the market as far as variants. It's because then also what happens is all these companies, or not all these companies, but all these titles that come out have this exclusive variant, which then, and I've definitely said this before, it skews the numbers as far as the title, because obviously then people have like a print run of 100, 200, 500, whatever the print run is. But then there's also the cover A's that are out there. And then people are like, oh, well, this book did so many copies. No, it didn't really sell. It's just that's how many were published.
It's how many you printed.
Yeah. It's just because it was printed doesn't mean it's actually selling. Like someone could have bought like let's just call it like 1,000 copies of Ultimate Fallout number 4 way back in the day and actually sold them, or maybe they just bought them and held on to them for years. But there's no real sales data. There's no way to actually tell you how many were actually sold.
Yeah, look at like Jim Lee X-Men number 1, right? One of the most printed comic books of all time. I mean, but like, is it worth anything? I mean, if you pay over $5 for a Jim Lee X-Men number 1, I mean, what the hell, dude? So I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm definitely not the market that they're going after with this.
Yeah, believe me, as much as I want to fall down that rabbit hole, being a huge gamer and like wanting all these homages, I just can't support spending the money on stupid variants that are going to be worthless in a month or two. Like, why am I going to spend like $25, $30 on some video game homage that I know in like a month, that same seller is probably going to sell it at an auction and it's going to go for $4. Like,
yeah,
I really want it.
I think everything from that publisher is going to be worthless in like 4 months. But
true. That's
speaking of just random. Speaking of Zelda, have you seen this? Like the Netflix fan casting thing for Zelda. Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
Oh, so there's like so like it's obviously not true, but like Zelda coming out on Netflix, right? Live action, and they've like fan casted a bunch of the people and put posters and stuff, and the posters are really cool. I mean, honestly, you look at it and you get probably pretty excited if you're a Zelda fan. Like Tom Holland is Link, and it's got Emma Watson as Zelda, Idris Elba as Ganon. And then they got like a bunch of some of the other side characters and everything, but it looks really cool. The really funny one is they got Danny DeVito as Tingle. It's really stupid, but I saw it and I was like, oh wow, this would be really cool. But it's not true, but would be awesome. So
yeah, one day we'll get ourselves actual. I think it all depends on. I don't think it'll go live action. I think depending on how well Mario does, I think they'll do like a CGI, but maybe a little bit more mature type of CGI.
You know what's interesting? We're falling down a Zelda rabbit hole now, but what's interesting about Zelda, though, as opposed to a lot of traditional characters, is in Nintendo, the one thing Nintendo always did with Link was they never gave him a voice outside of like his noises he makes, because it was always, and actually Link wasn't even in most games. You have the opportunity to name Link, and because their goal for the game was they want you to be Link. They didn't want to give him a voice to ostracize or like put off the game player. They want to be able to put yourself in that role. So like Zelda and all the side characters have always had voices, but he never does, which is very interesting. So any kind of like a live action stuff, really, moderately.
Oh no, he has a voice. He has a voice, and it goes, "Excuse me, princess."
What's
remember that? Oh, you don't remember the cartoon?
Oh, the old school cartoon. Yeah, barely.
Oh, dude, I love that. It's so bad, but so good for like. I'm gonna watch that after we get done recording.
I love Zelda. I've been on like a Zelda kick lately too. So, but yeah, man. But anyway,
yeah. So that's our little bit of a what's going on. I think they're currently overplayed. I think they're going to continue to be overplayed this year in 2023. And at some point, someone's just going to have to either come out with something new or just do an exclusive variant that is an amazing cover, like how we used to see stuff, like original artist or get an unknown artist. Like I'd like that better.
Yeah, I know. We know what I'd love to not see. I'd love to not see another Tyler Kirk on Battle Damage. Oh my God. Can that guy draw anything other than that?
He is making bank.
And I'm not trying to like talk shit because obviously I can't draw worth a shit, but God damn, dude, like that's it. I think that's all that guy does. So
anyway, so let's get out of our little video game homaging variant rant and let's start us off with some TV and movie talk. So Zach?
So coming off the heels of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, we have some more MCU news. So over from Deadline, we have a report that Thunderbolts, the movie coming out here shortly, Steven Yeun is joining the Marvel Studios pick in a key role. So most of us know Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead, playing Glenn. He also had a role in the new movie Nope, one of Jordan Peele, right? Yeah, Jordan Peele's movie Nope. But we don't know, unfortunately, what character he will be playing, but it's significant to the film, and it also could play a role going forward in the future films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, as we know with Thunderbolts, we already have an ensemble cast with Florence Pugh returning as Yelena Belova, Sebastian Stan as Winter Soldier, David Harbour as Red Guardian, Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent, Hannah John Kamen as Ghost, and Olga Kurylenko as...
I heard she was out, though.
I read that too, but I'm not sure if that is...
Yeah, that's odd.
Sure or not. But because obviously this is a new article and she's still being listed. So
get your freaking facts straight.
Who knows? I mean, this movie doesn't come out till July 26th anyway of 2024. So obviously,
which will probably get moved because isn't this supposed to end? I thought this was supposed to end phase 4 or 5.
Ooh, I don't remember. I'm not sure on that one. But Steven Yeun is a great actor. His role as Glenn was awesome. He's actually, like we said, he's been in some other movies since then. If you didn't watch him,
Mark from Invincible. Come on,
Mark from Invincible. He was in one of the greatest animated shows that Justin refuses to watch, which is Voltron. Is the voice of, oh man, I can't remember which one he is. But the red, I think
so
he's
great that you don't remember.
It is so great, but I can't remember his name. It's the red one, the red lion. But so good. So, what do you think? You excited about that?
It's, you know what? It's tough because my first thought would have been like Jimmy Woo, right?
Okay.
But we already have a Jimmy Woo in the MCU.
Which we didn't talk about him, that brief wasted like appearance in Quantumania.
Yeah, he was like, he didn't even say anything.
At the coffee shop with him.
Yeah. And then my next guess would probably go with like Amadeus Cho. Like, are they introducing like Totally Awesome Hulk, or are they at least introducing him as a character? And then again, like they're saying long term, because maybe the Hulk won't be around, or if they eventually do like a Hulk movie to kind of counteract him, would have like She-Hulk in it, and totally, and Amadeus Cho Hulk.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. And when I'm looking at this picture of him, obviously it is I kind of could see an Amadeus Cho character. I
Or
don't
villain.
know.
Like, are we going to go villain? And then I don't really know who they could.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't really have a pick, and I'm not trying to just stick to, obviously, you can't just stick to what Asian characters, because that's, we know Marvel can race swap as well with these roles. So, I'm excited. I like him as an actor.
Yeah, definitely.
He's definitely pretty awesome. So, yeah, we'll see. It sucks when you get these announcements, right? But you don't know who the character is. So you're just like, oh, great. Okay. It's almost like I don't really care until you tell me the character is, to be honest. So, but yeah, that's cool, man.
But at least he's going to be a larger role. Like they like they said, it's also keeping under wraps. So it's not like someone who, it's not like they say, oh, he's been cast as so-and-so. So
Right.
At least if they're keeping it under wraps, more so maybe a villain, and again, longer term.
Or by revealing who he is, it might actually reveal their plans down the road, really. So it could be a big time character. So,
yeah. All right.
We'll see,
so I definitely think that's definitely interesting. We'll definitely have to see where they're going to go with that. But speaking of more news from the TV and movie universe, this is coming over from Boom Studios directly. So Something is Killing the Children is finally in development at Netflix. So the adaptation is in development from Dark and 1899 creators Baron Bo Ador and Janet Friesen. I'm probably completely butchered those names, but it is. Of course, the project comes through Netflix's first look deal with Boom Studios and will be the first series from them on their newly signed multi-year Netflix ordeal. So, of course, we have Stephanie Christie and Ross Ritchie. Ross Ritchie, of course, big CEO over at Boom Studios, will be the executive producer, and James Tinney in the fourth, as well as Weather Deladera, who are the writer and artist, be co-executing this thing as well. So I'm sure now everybody's listing it. Everyone's posting it on Instagram, trying to sell their copies. Because this was a book that at a high, like the cover A in 9/8 was like $1,000 book, if not more. And then it dropped. But I'm sure this is definitely going to push the needle again, because that's what they always do. So
yeah, it's definitely great news. Obviously, we're both big fans of Something is Killing the Children, the universe, and there's a lot to explore there as well. A lot of things they could do there. I saw our friend King of the Golden State posted something like a fan casting, and I thought, damn, okay, that's pretty good. So have you seen his post?
Yeah, it's the girl from Kick-Ass.
Yeah, Chloe Moretz.
Yeah, I totally think that's great. Like, I think she's awesome. She's absolutely a great character. I've always liked. I know she's kind of too big for the role now. The chick who played Magic in New Mutants.
Oh, you mean too old, right? Too older? Is that what you're saying?
Well, like too old, but no, and also I feel like too big. Like I feel like they need to come out with an actress who is either new or has been in some stuff,
big.
but not
you mean like successful. I don't know why I was thinking like body size. I was like, what? It's like, damn, dude.
Listen, I
body shaming these chicks, man.
Wow, bro. You're really getting me in trouble every week with the things that
yeah, she's great. Oh man, mind blank on her name. I love her too. She's awesome. But yeah, she would have been good.
Queen's Gambit, like everything. Like
I don't know.
Oh, Anna Taylor-Joy. Like she's perfect because she's like a natural blonde. Like she has that like
she has big eyes. Really
put a mask. Yes, you could just put a mask over her face now and have have the slaughter mask, and you'd be like, yo, that's totally her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I really hope they lean heavier into. I want it to be very much like Stranger Things, but ratchet it up a bit. You know what I mean? Like the darkness and the gore. Obviously, Something is Killing the Children is gory. Like it has to be violent. You're gonna have to show. And that's always been the thing about this show, man, is like, ugh, even the title alone, like it's not gonna lend well towards some parents probably. And then in the show, you're gonna legit have little kids being like torn apart by monsters. So the opening book what, like 6 kids get ripped apart like right at the
Oh
jump.
God, yeah.
So
See, now here's the thing, and I feel like we've definitely said this before, is that the fear of it being on Netflix, because everything goes to Netflix and then gets canceled after
right.
like one
3
season.
seasons at most, and then they have to
Well,
redo
like
the
sometimes not even. I mean, Jupiter's
right.
Legacy, was
Yeah,
kind of canceled the
that
the
too.
moment it came out. So, it could be better on like Amazon Prime, knowing
Yeah.
that like you've had success already with the shows that are already on there, like The Boys and Invincible.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Maybe but who knows? Maybe maybe they realize that and they're like, okay. And because even when the shows that do make it past 2 or 1 season, then they go to we've talked about this before as well. Netflix has like a 3-season thing that they do, and then after 3 seasons, contracts get re-upped, and so they usually end season or shows at 3 seasons at max, so they don't have to re-up contracts. So, but maybe they're seeing that as a fault. You know what I mean? Like, look, Stranger Things is done. It's ending after this next season. What's their other biggest titles? Would you say like their big hits?
Wow, that's a good
That
question.
are still ongoing, really.
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, like you have like that, and that's got to end. Like Ozark is done.
I think this is the last season of You, and that's a really
Yeah.
big one as well. But that wasn't even theirs either. They picked that up off of like Lifetime or some shit. I think.
Yeah. And didn't like Wednesday got renewed for season 2, but I don't think it's going to be on Netflix or.
Yeah, there's something with that, and there was issues with that as well.
So yeah, it's The
Witcher. I mean,
that went downhill after.
we'll see what happens after Cavill's gone. But so yeah, it makes you nervous, Netflix anymore, which really is crazy because Netflix was like the premiere, right? For like the longest time, the premier like streaming channel. So,
but there's so much that even like I don't have Apple TV, I don't have Plus, so there's things that I'm missing. But I feel like most people have like Netflix, they've stuck around with it, and probably Amazon Prime. Most people have Amazon Prime because of the added benefit of the Amazon ordering from Amazon. Like that's what it is. Like shit, I've had Netflix so long that I back in the day had like the 2 to 3 DVD plan where I was getting movies, burning them, and immediately sending them back like the same day. Like that's how I was running my Netflix operation of just like I had like a giant CD folder of like every anime series that you could possibly think of, and then like everything else. And if someone wanted to borrow a movie, I had it.
Dude, Homeland Security is going to be knocking on your door now for piracy issues, bro.
But I don't have them anymore, so
doesn't matter. You just admitted to it.
Oh fuck! I gotta delete this out now. Damn you.
Yeah, dude. So I'm excited. We'll see what happens. It's just like everything else, right? It's like any Marvel property, DC property comes out, like hell yeah, but there's always the fear that it won't be done right. So, but better to see it than not see it, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right. So
let's get it to the live action. Let's see some Erica Slaughter. Let's see the House of Slaughter. Let's see all the different
masks,
and let's see some awesome creatures. So, all right. So out of the TV and movie section into our fair comic world. So Zach, kick us off with our first comic article of the night.
Yes. So this one comes from Bleeding Cool. We got a new Marvel event. So if you thought we were all done with Marvel events, boy, were you wrong. So, so Marvel's event we have is Marvel Comics announces the Contest of Chaos. So the news is Absolute Chaos corrupts absolutely. Marvel Comics CB Cebulski, probably totally butchered that, is announcing a new event alongside the Summer of Symbiotes promotion at Marvel Comics this summer, Contest of Chaos, saying that it's an upcoming Marvel Comics saga that challenges your favorite heroes to embrace their inner chaos. And they have a handy cover from Brian Hitch saying, witness the corruption of absolute chaos in Contest of Chaos arriving summer 2023. I don't know, man. This is like, it's kind of a little bit of too much of a play on like the Contest of Champions. So is it like a blend with the game?
Well, of course, it's they say in the article that it does, of course, come from the original Contest of Champions, and we've seen this before. This is not the first one. The first obviously Contest of Champions was an amazing run, and then they redid it when they obviously had the game going on to support that, which was well versed as well. Because you're pitting. I like that second series because you pitted even the first series too, because you pitted like B and C level characters, and you've even introduced like new characters. And I feel like the characters for this one are all A-list characters, right? Like it's in the article. Who are the characters?
Well, first off, it seems like it's all heroes. It looks like there's really no villains in this, at least in the cover here. So you've got Venom, Deadpool, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Captain Marvel, Storm, Scarlet Witch, Human Torch, Captain America, both Captain Americas, Ghost Rider, Thor, Moon Knight, Spider-Gwen, and Iron Man against each other. Now, I don't know if this is a complete list, if this is the only ones we have on here, because I'm also seeing it. It's definitely not a complete list because I see Scarlet Witch in there. I'm seeing Moon Knight, Vision.
Still too many characters, I feel like, and all big names.
But I'm not seeing one villain in here at all. So I don't know, man. It's goddamn Marvel, man. So we'll see what happens. It could be good. Here's the thing. It's going to be 6 to 8 issues, probably. It doesn't say here. I'm taking a guess. 6 to 8 issues. And then you're going to have tie-ins across every single Marvel title. Will have a Contest of Chaos tie-in, probably, where you're going to have Ms. So they'll bring in Ms. Marvel like they do because she cannot hold her own title at all. And they'll do a blend over there. Spider-Man, Miles Morales will come in too because also cannot hold a title with good sales. All your C-list characters are going to show up with Contest of Chaos. And probably Howard the Duck will even show back up at some point for a Contest of Chaos spinoff.
But it's always been heroes though. The first series, which again is in like the early 80s, of just looking it up, so we'll get another stuff. So you had Daredevil, Talisman, Dark Star, Invisible Girl, Iron Fist, Sunfire, She-Hulk, Captain Britain, and Defensor were the ones in like the main characters in the first one. So again, I think that's what it is. It's not really villains, but again, with the word chaos, like you feel like they should be using villains.
Right. I mean, obviously, if I'm taking a guess, someone comes in and is doing something to mess with their minds, right? To influence them to fight against each other. But there's some interesting things here. So, like with Venom, it's not Eddie Brock, it's Dylan Brock's Venom.
Yep.
And then if you see Spider-Man's suit, that's different. His little emblem on the front.
Maybe a change.
Maybe I'm not like keeping up with current Spider-Man stuff, but the emblem there definitely looks different than what I'm used to. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure it's probably going to be better than Summer of Symbiotes for sure. Has to be.
Or it could just be absolute trash, and it's just people trying to buy.
Probably will be
the Contest of Chaos. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's another Marvel event. It probably won't have any
lasting repercussions. Yeah.
That, and it probably doesn't even have like a tie-ins. Like I think. Like obviously the previous two Contest of Champions, they really weren't. It was just the title. That's all it was. There was no bleed overs from other titles, and that's fine, right? 8-issue miniseries, 12-issue miniseries, whatever.
Yeah,
and that's it. You read it, you sell it, you read it, you keep it, just like the other titles. So
agreed.
But let's get into another miniseries that's coming out. This actually just over at IGN.com. So Marvel Comics revives the Ultimate Universe in Ultimate Invasion. So, of course, from the creators of the Ultimate Universe, Jonathan Hickman and Brian Hitch, they are debuting a new team-up coming this summer, 4-issue series, like I said, called Secret Invasion. So, of course, if you remember back in 2015's Secret Wars, they completely destroyed it. This series will center around 2 characters who actually survived that destruction. Of course, the one and only Miles Morales and the maker, also known as Ultimate Universe's Reed Richards. So while Hickman is keeping the story under wraps somehow, this alliance will lead into the revival of the Ultimate Universe. Now, there's been a lot of good. There's been a lot of bad. There's been a lot of terrible in the Ultimate Universe. But I know, Zach, you've kind of read some of it, right? Not all of it.
Yeah. I've read all of it. And then I recently reread like the main titles. I reread through all the way up to like the Ultimatum stuff. So Ultimate Spider-Man, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. I think in general, Ultimate Universe was amazing. I think the Ultimate Universe as a whole was better than it was. Not like the positives outweighed the negatives. It just it went on a little too long, a little bit here. But we'll see. I'm excited. I'm kind of pretty excited about this. At least you're getting Jonathan Hickman as being like the guy, like taking over here, kind of coming back. I mean, what he did with the X-Men has been amazing. You obviously probably not too hard to figure out that I'm not a massive Miles Morales fan, but the Maker I think is awesome. And the last we saw the Maker was during Absolute Carnage, I believe. And one of those,
he was in that. He was in the Venom run with Donny
yeah,
Cates.
yeah. And I think that's the last time we saw him was during that event, and then he hasn't came back since then. But he's that's a character who has a lot of legs on him. Like he can do a ton. So it'd be really good to see him again. Now, are they restarting the X-Men universe? Or I mean, the Ultimate Universe? I don't know. You know, is that kind of what it's saying? I guess
it's tough because exactly like the article says. Like, will the an Ultimate Invasion lead to a brand new Ultimate Comics imprint in late 2023? Because it's also worth noting that Hickman has another mysterious project in the works with Fantastic Four artist Valerio Scheide. So could it be, could they go back to the, Ultimate Universe and either continue with the characters? Because the thing is with this article, they don't really show anything in the X-Men. It's more so the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. There's nothing about Ultimate X or really anything outside of Miles. So no other characters. So I what will we see in this 4-issue miniseries? Will they cram it in or will it maybe get more? Maybe it'd be 5 issues somehow, or and then will we see the resurgence of the Ultimate Universe? It's something that we definitely haven't seen since 2015. And like you said, and I'm sure like most people, if they've read it, like you said, ups and downs. But I mean, I'm a big fan of the Ultimate Spider-Man series.
Definitely the best title for sure.
Yeah. It gave Peter Parker such a definitely rejuvenation that you needed. And then even Ultimate FF is not Ultimate FF, but Ultimate Fantastic Four in that universe was a great run as well.
Yeah, towards the beginning and towards the end, it kind of was weird. Some of the takes, obviously, the thing that was tough about the Ultimate Universe is you do different takes on classic heroes, right? And we all know how people feel about that sometimes. So like the ultimate take on Thanos was not well received and it wasn't very good. Even some of the Spider-Man stuff, I feel like the biggest problem with the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff, I'm sorry, I'm looking back here at the omnibuses here, is the biggest issue, in my opinion, was some of the villains didn't get as much game time as they did in like the traditional universe, so they would do changes on characters, but they were big time characters. Like I think Mysterio obviously is a big Spider-Man villain and in Spider-Man's world, but in the Ultimate, I think he just kind of pops in, if I remember correctly, for a few issues and then he's kind of gone.
There's not much because there really wasn't too many crossovers that involved the Ultimate Universe. Like because there wasn't enough titles to have these giant crossover events.
Yeah, they would do little ones like Ultimate War, Ultimate Nightmare, Ultimate Extinction, but each one of those kind of focused on like a new character too. Like Ultimate Extinction brought in like Captain Marvel and stuff like that. But here, this actually, I mean, it should be no shocker that the Ultimate Spider-Man run almost as a whole dealt more with symbiotes than like traditional Spider-Man stuff. Like, I mean, once you introduced Venom and you had Carnage over and over again, back and forth. But that's what people like, so I guess that's what they went with.
Definitely.
This should be good, dude. Hickman, I'm about it. I'm about Hickman. I trust Hickman. So.
Yeah, very, very, it's going to be very wordy. It's going to be well worth your money.
Right.
You may not understand everything, but you probably will make it all 4 issues so the entire Ultimate Universe somehow, some way, right?
Exactly. There'll be graphs and shit. And you'll probably have a QR code to like a YouTube video or something.
Oh god, like an entire page is just nothing but words, like when it was like House of X, just introducing the
yeah.
No. All right, so out of the comic book section and into what are we currently pre-ordering for the month of February? So everything, of course, that we talk about now, is still easily pre-orderable. Coming out in April. I'll start off this month's what are we currently pre-ordering. So this is actually a good one-shot for everybody who likes some horror stuff. So this one is coming over from Fair Square Comics. The title is called Blood, Love, Ghosts, and a Deadly Spell. Off the huge success of its previous comics, You Promised Me Darkness and Follow Me Into Darkness. If you have not read either of those, it's very well done by Damian Connolly. He saved the best for last. It is a 64-page volume filled with horrific tales and from the intimate mind of Damian, author of the best-selling hits You Promised Me Darkness and, of course, Follow Me Into Darkness. But this book contains 4 never before seen contains short horror stories, and they are also illustrated poem that will terrify, unsettle, and astonish you. So this is coming out in April. Again, if you're into either of those titles, You Promise Me Darkness or Follow Me Into Darkness, you'll definitely be wanting to pre-order this and know where Damien has gone, because those were from Behemoth. So quick little one-shot, 64 pages. If you like it, pick it up. Blood, Love, Ghost, and a Deadly Spell. What about you, man? What do you got for what are you currently pre-ordering?
So the book I got is, excuse me, comes over from Image Comics by James Tynion IV. It's World Tree, but the title's called World Tree, but they got a couple letters in there. So, like a 0 and 2 3s at the end. But just in case you're trying to type this out to search for it, I guess. But here's the his synopsis. So in 1999, Gabriel and his friends discovered the Undernet, a secret architecture to the internet. They charted their exploration on a message board called World Tree. Then they lost control. Someone broke into World Tree, someone who welcomed the violent hold the Undernet had on them. At a great personal cost, Gabriel and the others thought they sealed the Undernet away for good. They were wrong, and now they will know the meaning of fear, also spelled totally weird, totally like computer-esque. The next major horror outing from the multiple Eisner Award-winning writer James Tynion IV. So, I'm in, like the stuff he's done with Nice House on the Lake. Obviously, we talked about Something Is Killing the Children. Like, I definitely will pick this book up for sure. Like, I really, really trust James Tynion IV to come up with something really cool. So,
of course, yeah. It definitely sounds interesting. When's it come out?
Has expected ship date is April 12th. It kind of has reading the synopsis had like a Die feeling, like of Die, right? Where they created something and then they locked it away, and it was almost like kind of like the story behind Die in a way. So sounds definitely good. Cool.
Yeah, I definitely. Speaking of Die, I think I'm gonna go back and read that.
Yeah,
it's been a while. I think it's time to go back and read those.
It's a good one.
All right, so what are we currently pre-ordering? Again, stuff that's coming out in April, so you can still pre-order it from your local comic shop. If not, you hit it up on that FOC coming in April. So, rounding out the show, of course, how we always end these good old shows with what are we currently reading? And we have quite a bit of titles to talk about this week. Let's go off with I have a little bit of everything, man. I got Marvel, DC, and indie. So,
damn, you start then, because actually let me go because I only have one. So. And then you can finish it off.
All right.
So the book I have, what I'm currently reading, the one I really liked this week was Punisher War Journal Base. So they've been doing the obviously Punisher ongoing, but they've had like a couple one shots, Punisher War Journal, and they all deal with like a different aspect of Punisher's like backstory and history, and they're just really well written. I don't know how to explain each one. Obviously, they're all kind of like standalone one shot stories, but this one really deals with a lot of themes from like PTSD and a lot of themes of like how to reintegrate into life when you've come back as a soldier, which, in the classic iterations of the Punisher, it was always leaned more like heavily into his like police officer like experience, right? But I feel like they're very much going more into kind of what we saw from like the Netflix stuff, where a lot of this is caused from, trauma from war and trying to come back to a world where he just doesn't really understand it anymore and no one really understands him. But it's awesome. The themes in here are very strong. And then, of course, you get some great Frank Castle jacking up some mobsters. So it's really, really cool stuff. This is from writer... Let's see what his first name is. Torun Gronbeck. It's some Scandinavian name, which I probably butchered as well. He's currently writing the Thor series right now as well, like that title. But really good stuff. Punisher War Journal base. So if you're liking the Punisher stuff, check it out for sure.
Nice. Awesome. All right. So on to me. Like I said, I got a bunch of titles to talk about. Starting off with the Marvel stuff. Yoda #4. Did you read it?
No, I haven't read any of the Yoda stuff.
Ooh, okay, so then you actually may like this one. So I don't know if it's going to be like a 2-issue story arc or maybe 3 issues, obviously, because this series is a total of 12. But I feel like the way they've been going is like every 3 issues is a story arc. So this story arc involves a Yoda and dealing with his once Padawan Dooku. So it's actually set prior to I would say even like episode 1. Dooku is still on the side of good. it revolves around him and Yoda. Kind of they constantly have this, you know, back and forth conversation and Coruscant, and obviously how, you know, from what we've even seen like on Tales of the Jedi, like how Dooku is very adamant of, you know, his beliefs, you know, things that how he feels about how the Force should be run, not, you know, what is expected of things. It's, you know, you need to see where things go. Like it's not always about what you can't see. It's about, you know, how it's guided, right? The issue also includes like these 3 Padawans, and Dooku takes notice of one of them because he sees that he's starting to have visions of the future. And, you know, he's like, "Oh, have you told anybody about this?" And and I'm not going to give too much away, but the Padawan's like, "No." So he, of course, is slowly watching this Padawan, you know, progress, because obviously he's seen something that in his future he's not going to like, and it involves another one of the Padawans. So they're not characters who the Padawans are not characters who you would know. But it's always good to learn more about, you know, Dooku. It's something that we talked about for Tales of the Jedi. You know, they obviously mentioned Sifo Dyas. There's a little, you get to learn a little bit about him. He's not in it, but there's some information of like where he is. So that's, again, it's always good to know like what was happening before Phantom Menace, right? Because there's not much that we know about what's going on prior to episode 1. So I at least know, like I said, I think these are going to be 3 issues because that's the way the story arc has been running. So at least issues 4, 5, and 6. So even if you just pick up these, it's its own little, you know, part
contained story.
Yeah, contain storyline. So definitely recommend just picking up at least 4, 5, and 6 if you want a little bit of Dooku, because again, we don't get too much Dooku, right?
No, really don't.
So next up is a new title that actually just got put out this week. This is Local Man from Image Comics. So of course, synopsis is the series premiere Stray Dogs creator Tony Fleeks teams with a Revival's Jim Seeley for a series that combines rural crime noir and superhero action. Once the star recruit of the media sensation superhero team Third Gen, Jack Crossjack had it all, but then a controversy sends Crossjack crawling back to his mom and dad's basement in the Midwest. Jack struggles to fit into a world he has left far behind, and then the bodies start piling up. So interesting about this, first off, it's a flip book. So the way you'd read it the first way is it's basically him, what happens after whatever happens, and him, like exactly like it says, like going back to his mom and dad's place. So it's like almost like if you lost your job and you were down in the dumps and then you like went home, like let's say you live far away, you get to see how, you know, like most families handle it. Like they're upset with him. They feel like he's a disgrace because he was a superhero and something happened. The people in his town treat him like shit. They're like, "Hey, are you Crossjack?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they're just like, they tell him to fuck off. And it's just funny. Like, but you don't know why, right? You have no idea in this first issue, like why. And then some supervillain comes in and like tries to fight him. And then all of a sudden, like the Justice League or whatever team he was on, Third Gen, they come and kind of give him like a summons for basically doing superhero stuff when he's no longer allowed to do it because his quote unquote contract was terminated. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, but it's also very interesting at the same time, because again, you really want to know, like, what did he do? He was on this team, and why is he not allowed to do anything? And then of course it ends on a cliffhanger with this supervillain that he was fighting. But then on the flip side, when you flip it over, it's completely different art, and it's all him when he was with this team, Third Gen, fighting this other like superhero, you know. So it's almost like the Justice League fighting like the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. So you get to see both sides of like him like post being a superhero and then him when he was a superhero. But again, nothing is revealed in this first issue of like where or what happened and why he was disgraced or cut out of this team and being a superhero. So interesting.
Cool. I ordered that. It's I ordered that off DCBS, so I should be getting that shortly. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. It's looks like it's going to be an interesting series. Like I said, with Tony Fleeks and Seeley. So that's on the indie side. And then last but not least, the first title from the Dawn of DC, Superman #1.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, dude. I actually, you know, I had to start somewhere, you know, and obviously they start with the big man himself. So writer Joshua Williamson and artist Jamal Campbell. You know, when I saw Jamal Campbell's name, again, I'm a big fan of Naomi. So same art that we've seen in Naomi, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And it starts off perfectly post Dark Crisis. You know, Clark Kent is back as Superman. Lois Lane is now the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet. Lex Luthor is in jail. And basically it starts off with him, you know, fighting Livewire, and him kind of hearing this name or hearing voices. And it's interesting because he says to Lois that over the years that he's always been able to hone on certain people's voices throughout years. Like he keeps track of them by like what they're saying. He's like, oh, you know, with you and my parents and of course Lex. And throughout this entire issue, you don't know that it's Lex talking to him, like trying to help him out, until like halfway through the issue, where basically it's almost similar to, like, I don't know, obviously you're not reading Spider-Man, but like how Norman Osborn basically gave Peter Parker Oscorp. So it's very similar. So now like Lex, so Lex basically is now given Superman LexCorp, and it's now called like Supercorp. So he basically is saying, you know, he gives him like all these scientists to do stuff with, and, you know, a ton of other things. But very interesting opening issue. It ends with Superman fighting Parasite, and then there's this reveal that there is some other villain that's more powerful than Superman, basically. And
why is Lex in jail?
So I don't know that, because obviously I've never really been reading the Superman series.
I mean, I can only think of the oh god, when he like broke bad and did the whole, and this is a long time ago. All the stuff with Perpetua and all that, when he became like, when he was like working with Batman Who Laughs and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah. So obviously there's someone out there, because the whole issue, he's trying to get them. Lex is trying to get Superman to work with him and tell him that he really needs him, like it's like a team up type of thing. Yeah. He doesn't want to listen. So I think there's a villain that's kind of revealed at the end with other villains, and I'm interested to see where it goes. You know, again, it's the start of the new dawn of the DC for 2023. It's a new number one. I think it does start off well. Again, you start off with your original, you know, superhero of the DC universe. So, dawn of DC,
cool,
man, number one. So yeah, that's what I'm currently reading. And it's got a badass wraparound cover. So it's really cool. The front's got all, you know, the front's nice. It's got all like Superman, Lois, all about light. And then on the flip side, it's got Lex in jail with like Livewire, Bizarro, Banshee, Parasites on there too. So it's cool. And then there's some hidden stuff in the back. So
sweet.
Yeah. So that's what I got this week for my pick of the week, was the Superman number one, man.
Cool stuff.
So that's it for us here at the Comic-Con podcast for season 3, episode 8. We appreciate everybody checking us out. Of course, next month being Women's History Month, Women's International Month, we, of course, like we did last year, we will be having some female guests on in the community, supporting them, letting, you know, we're going to get to learn about some people that are, you may know, you may not know. So be on the lookout for all our upcoming episodes in March. We'll be having some female guests on here. Of course, myself, love promoting it every week. Make sure if you're in the area, in the tri-state area, King Kong show, March 25th, March 26th in Island, New Jersey. Your boy here, Nemesis Prime, will be vending. Tons of people in the community. Pressable Defects, 3 Men in a Basement, Barry Gary, Erod, New York Warriors, and a ton of other people will be there as well. So you'll be seeing me there March 25th and 26th. What about you, man? Anything else going on?
No, I will be in the Kansas City area in March, from like March 17th to the 26th. If anyone's around there and wants to do a meetup, maybe at a shop or something, hit me up. Let me know, either on Instagram or comicconpodcast@gmail.com, wherever you want to hit me up. And I'd be down to do that. So
too bad you weren't going in April. You can go to PlanetCon.
The PlanetCon, yeah.
So much going on.
I know.
Well, that's it, everybody. We appreciate it. Again, check out the bonus content, the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. If you've seen the movie, we have dropped that earlier in the week. So check it out. Peace out, everybody.
Later.